Fulani herdsmen were once peaceful, but something happened in 2010. Sheikh GUNMI reveals. The terrorist negotiator, Sheikh Ahmed GUNMI, has revealed why cattle herdsmen or Fulani herdsmen has turned to terrorists. He said once they were peace-loving beings. Before they were peace-loving beings, but they have turned into terrorists, terrorizing people, killing, destroying farmlands, raping women, wreaking havoc in the southern part of the country, including north central states. And so he said, I quote, "It started in 2010. That was when their cattle were rostered. They were displaced from their land, and the military came to kill a lot of them in the name of fighting cattle rustling. This is the genesis, and the volunteers started killing them too. They are the victims of cattle rustling, and they ended up being killed. That is why they took up arms. This is an insurgency. I have been there. I have talked to them. I have sat down with them. I have seen them. If they get a partner who will encourage them to drop their arms, they will do that. They want a government that would build schools and hospitals and take their children to schools. I built a school in the forest. As of now, I'm taking care of about 600 women, children, and men." End of quote. And so we have seen it, the account of Sheikh GUNMI on how the Fulani herdsmen started terrorizing the people of Nigeria. That is what he's saying. Cow rustling, or cattle rustling, if you like. Say people are rustling their cows. And because people are rustling their cows, the government brought military or soldiers to confront those who are rustling their cows. And now those people that the government brought started killing the herders, and the herders has to respond. Okay? Now what we are talking about is this. Who provided the guns, the AK-47 they are using? Who provided the AK-47? Sheikh GUNMI has to answer these questions. First of all, there's no evidence that government officials or the military are killing them, or we are killing them in those 2010, because the president of Nigeria then supposed to be GUNMI Jonathan. GUNMI Jonathan was the president of Nigeria then. So are they alleging that the president GUNMI Jonathan sent the army to go and kill the herdsmen because their cows have been roasted or their cattle being roasted? So that's what Sheikh GUNMI is trying to tell us, that the military under Jonathan was killing the herders, even as their cow or their cattle is being roasted. And again, then they became infuriated if what Sheikh GUNMI is saying, that their cattle were roasted. Then who provided the AK-47? Who provided AK-47 for the Fulani people? These guns they are using, these sophisticated weapons, because they're not allowed to use it in the first instance. They are herders. They're supposed to go with their stick. Who is probing it? Where are they getting it from? A very important question that Sheikh GUNMI must answer, since he has assumed that position to defend the armed militant groups in all the northern Nigeria. All the militant groups, both bandits, the Boko Haram, the ISWAP, this man will come and defend them. And the government will not question him. They not ask him anything. He said he has been there, he has been with them. He goes everywhere. This man, you see. Sheikh GUNMI visits the camp of bandits, Boko Haram. You have seen it now. He's talking about the herdsmen, the Fulani herdsmen, the killer herdsmen. He said he do visit them in their camps in the forest. He's taking care of them and telling them to be killing Nigerians. And the SS is there, watching him moving freely. Brothers and sisters, people are just wasting their time in this contraption. I tell you, the evidence is there. It's clear that we must reason this time around. We shouldn't be talking about this charade. It's obvious that there is a war going on, but people are not aware. War is ongoing. It's a very dangerous thing that a human being will be in a situation that you will be relating to your fellow human being as a brother, as a sister, as a fellow human being. And that person will be treating you as an enemy that ought to be eliminated. And so it's a very dangerous thing. Very dangerous thing. Because if you identify your enemy, it will be very easier for you. Things will be very easier for you that you have identified your enemy. Now you know that this is my enemy. You know how to relate with that enemy. But the enemy that you don't know about, that person assumes a very dangerous dimension in your life. And that's the position of many Nigerians, because they have been deceived by the political elites. That is one Nigeria. It is one Nigeria. If you say nay, they said, bring your head. Bring your head. You see, so there's no basis for defense here. Now there's no even basis for argument that the Fulani herdsmen picked up arms because they are being killed. By who? Who is killing them? Jonathan is the president of Nigeria, there's no doubt. But they are the heads of the security agents. The Fulani, over the years, they are there. Since 1970, or even from 1967, immediately the war began. After the first military coup, the counter coup followed. Immediately after that counter coup of July 1966, the Fulani they took over the military. They took over the army, the navy, the air force, everything, even the police. From then up until 1999, Obasanjo became the head of state, or the president of Nigeria under civil rule. You see, from that moment till 2007, I think Obasanjo wouldn't do much to change the Fulanis in the military, or the army, or the navy, or the air force, or the police. He wouldn't do much. He can only change the head. What about all the other commanders, the generals, and the inspectors, and you see the officers, senior officers? Are you going to retire them? So these are what is happening. So you cannot say that, look, that Jonathan commanded the army under him to kill the herdsmen. That's why they pick up arms. And he was saying that the government should build schools for them, build separate schools for them in the bush or in the forest. When people are talking about ranching, that's modern way of rearing cattle. They're talking of building schools in the forest for terrorists. So all these things is to show that Nigeria, the people of the southern Nigeria in particular, the Biafrans, must start thinking, of how to exit from this contraption. That's what we are saying, because it's obvious. A war is going on. There's war. This is not crisis. There's an agenda, there's a plan to take over the lands of Nigeria, the indigenous Nigeria, to pursue them, to kill them, to exterminate them, and to claim their lands, dominate them. That's what they are fighting at the federal level, to make sure that they are there. Fulani man is stepping down by May 29. All things being equal. And the Fulani man is planning to take over. What is happening? If you see what is happening in the politics today, you will understand that they are plotting to sabotage southern presidents, or southern aspirants, or candidates. Southern presidential candidates. They are trying to frustrate them to pave way for a Fulani man to become the president of Nigeria. So after Fulani 8 years, under Fulani 8 years, what does that mean? To entrench this Fulani that has been coming from West Africa to come here and dominate. Because after these 8 years, it would not seem that the Fulani will have some trouble to consolidate. So they need to consolidate. And that's why they're pushing another Fulani man to take over. And you are saying the worst are the people who are campaigning for even this Fulani man. They are the worst. They have accepted the position of eternal slave. Woe besides them, for they have been blinded or blindfolded to see the realities on ground. So these are the facts. Fulani domination, the conquest, the war, jihad is ongoing. The